Y'all, could not be more excited about what's happening. I see that a couple people are saying, hey, in chat, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me in the chat, there's like a little emoji button. Click on what your favorite emoji is. Aaron says, sounds good. Thank you. Or Emily says, sound good. We've got Christia. We've got sunglasses emoji. I like it. Summertime. Natalie says, thumbs up. We've got the hearts from Krista. We've got Liz, the bow tie. I love it. So, by the way, I've got camera 1 right here. We've got camera 2 right here, which you guys can't see. I can see it. And then I'm looking at the chat, which is right there. We got thumbs up emoji. I love it. Well, while we're waiting for a couple more people to come in, we've got some people logging in. We're going to give them just a couple minutes. I want to interact with you guys in chat. My name is Sean Specie. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer here at Elevate, but I would love to know your preference. It's vacation. So where are you going? Are you going to the beach or are you going to the pool? Where are you going? What are you doing? Beach or pool? Beach or pool? What's it going to be? Emily says beach. Krista says beach. Liz says beach. Pool. We've got, we had a couple of boats. I think I missed the boats that were in there. Christina beach, Jesse beach, Kelsey beach. Aaron says beach, all caps with like 4 H's. I love it. What was the one with the sunglass emoji? Can you scroll down a little bit, Byron? Byron, I want you to say hi. Tell the people, turn on your camera. Do we have your camera on? We don't have your camera on. Let me turn your camera on. Oop, what just happened? Static shock just went through the cameras. That's okay. All right, Byron, let's go. Your camera on. That's Byron, you guys.
How you guys doing?
Byron, what are you going to do? Beach or pool?
I think I'm going to definitely have to go beach.
Beach? Okay,
yeah.
I like it. All right, how about this next one? If you're at the beach or the pool, are you going to be active and like throwing the frisbee and swimming, or are you going to chill? Which one are you going to do? We've got messages flying in. I love it. Chill, chill, chill. What happened? Is something happening? Am I freaking out? I touched the TV. Okay, where we go. Jesse, I love that. Chill. What did Christy say? Christy said active and then chill. Emily says, give me a book. Chill, chill, chill. I like it. How about this one? You're done with it. You're going back inside. Maybe you shower off, but it's snack time. Which one are you going to have? Cheez-Its or Goldfish? Krista was fast on that one. Byron, which one?
Cheez-Its. Come on.
Cheez-Its?
All the way. Yeah.
Someone just told me that they have a brand new Cheez-It. It's like a extra crispy or something. It's like getting the well done fries from Chick-fil-A. We've got Goldfish because they smile back. Yes, the snack that smiles back. I'd forgotten about that. Thank you for that. Who said that? Can you scroll up? Who said that? Christina said that. Thank you, Christina. I love it. Katie said neither, but she'll go with cheese. Okay, sing the jingle. I don't know if I remember. Is it the snack? I don't know if I remember it. How's the jingle go?
I definitely don't remember.
The snack that smiles back. We'll just say that. Okay, how about that one? I think I have one more. Now it's dinner time. It's past snack time. It's now dinner time. You're at the beach or pool. Remember, tacos or barbecue? Tacos. If I'm at the beach, y'all, it has to be fish or shrimp tacos. Can I get an amen from the congregation in chat? We've got tacos, yum, both. Barbecue tacos. Does that what both means?
Yeah,
Does both
you
mean
can
barbecue
have tacos? And
tacos?
have barbecue tacos, you know.
Okay. Amen to fish tacos. I love it. Love it. Awesome. This is my last one. Now dinner's over. Dinner's over. You've had your tacos, you had your barbecue. Which one are you having? A tasty beverage? I'll let your mind wander on that one. Alcoholic or non, whichever. Beverage or dessert? Which one's it going to be? Dessert. I said beverage, dessert. No one has said yet a dessert beverage, by the way.
They haven't.
I personally, if I had to choose, I can't do both. I'd have to go with beverage just to chill. What about you, Byron?
I think I'll definitely go with dessert.
Okay.
Because I can have a beverage while I'm eating my dinner.
Got it.
And it makes it taste better. It makes the food better.
Someone got specific on me. Krista said dessert chocolate lava cake. I've never had that. Bonus points, Krista, 50,000 bonus points if you can find the recipe and copy and paste it in chat. You don't have to do that now, or just email us back and send us the recipe for chocolate lava cake because that sounds amazing. We'll share it with our whole team. Molten lava cake from Chili's, says Emily. I love it. Well, welcome you guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're about 5 minutes in. That's plenty of time for people to log in. If you have problems engaging with us or watching this, The recommended browser is Google Chrome. And then there's like some settings there. You can let us know in chat if you ever need anything. We want this to be interactive, and we're just so glad that you're here. Now, this is going to be interactive. We don't like the word webinar. This is a virtual workshop. Yes, she did it. There it is. Sally's bakingaddiction.com chocolate lava cake is now in the chat. Thank you for that, Krista. That's amazing. Well, we're already using one of the functions and one of the ways that we're going to make this interactive, which is the chat. And then we're going to use the poll. So I've got a couple of more chats that I want to hear from you guys on. This one is relating to the topic. We're talking about virtual events. So how many virtual events have you attended? Is it not many or is it a lot? Not many or a lot? Which one is it? We've got a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Yun, what's up? Yun's back for the second workshop of the day. I like it. Not many, not many, a lot, a lot. Yun, how's it going? Going great. Going great, having fun. It's been amazing. I'm wearing a different outfit. We had to do a quick costume change between the 11 a.m. and the 1 p.m. What about this one? Have you planned and produced a virtual event already? Which one? Have you or not? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, trivia. Okay, I like it. In the works. I love it. Leadership training for volleyball team. Very cool. I love it. Well, whether or not this is your first time planning a virtual event or you've already done one before and you're looking for new practices, we're so glad that you're here. And then the last question is, do you have one coming up? Are you thinking about planning one? Would love to hear that in chat. Yes or no. We've got yes from Christy, yes from Liz, yes from Natalie. Yep. Yes from Yun. I like it. Cool. Very cool. So now we're going to add a poll to this. Okay. We want to hear from you guys. If you were to plan one next month, how confident are you? And then I'm going to ask you at the end of this workshop, my goal is that the statistics get better. So how confident are you? Are you very confident? Are you somewhat confident? Or are you not confident at all? I love it. They're flying in 7, 8, 9, 10 responses. Somewhat confident. We've got a couple that are very confident. I love it. So we got 93. Is that 93%, Byron? 87% now? What's
87% now.
87%. I like it. And then about 12.5% are very confident. So my goal is to move you. If you're in the very confident, I want you in like the very, very confident, right? But then if you're in the somewhat confident, my goal for you is that after you're done here, you feel very confident at the planning aspect. Now, pleasure to be here with you guys. My name is Sean Specie. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Elevate Experiences. I'm also a host MC. I'm a keynote speaker. And this is what events used to look like, right? This is actually at the Infinite Energy Center here in Atlanta, Georgia. This is our founder, President Billy Bowie. And this is LeaderCast last year. They rented out the arena and they had thousands of people come, and then they broadcast multi-site. So it was a little bit of both virtual and in person. And then right now, what a lot of people are doing, we're moving from this type of setting where there's thousands of people watching or hundreds of people. We're able to interact and high five and elbow bump, and you're able to sit in close quarters. Now it's more like this. This is actually a screenshot from last week. I had the opportunity of leading a couple of segments during or not last week, but 2 weeks ago. We had our Elevate Summit 2020. And this is a game portion. We brought someone on live with us. This is Ellie. She's in North Dakota and in the Fargo area, somewhere in there. And she actually played a game with us live during our summit. And so we're moving from this arena into these types of arenas. And this is actually our studio where I'm standing. This is Billy again leading a virtual event for one of our clients here. We had a series of 9 about basically town halls where they wanted it to be fun, they wanted it to be celebratory, they wanted to teach their people something, and they wanted their people to hear the voice of their CEO and see the face and be able to interact, because they have properties all throughout the country. Now, we all know this, right? Everyone, a bunch of people have said that they've already been planning one or they're thinking about planning a virtual event. So you're aware of what's going on in our world. And I am predicting that we're going to see a major shift. There was actually a group a while ago who wrote about the coronavirus pandemic. And what they said is they said that we're not preparing for this as if it's a blizzard, which a lot of people were. They're preparing for it as if there was not a winter, which a blizzard is even an indicator that winter's coming. They were preparing their organization as if this was an ice age. It is a shift in the climate. It's a shift in the way in which they do business. And so this is actually something to consider. I actually just got to lead last week. There was a event for Event MB. That's Event MB, like letter M, letter B. You can search for it. It's a major publication. Stands for Event Manager Blog. And so this is a poll, a survey that they conducted with event planners around the world. And they asked the question, when do you expect to go back to business? This was event planners that are just event planners as well as they're event planners for large companies. And Q3, only 25% of them said we're expecting to go back to work with planning in-person events, about 25% of them. The rest of them was Q4 and onwards. Now, this is another something to consider. So this is constantly being updated by Event MB. So if you subscribe to them, they release these statistics and things. But what's the likelihood of comeback? So Q1, Q2, which we already said, somewhat likely January, March 2021. I do know that we heard reports that Facebook actually said that they were predicting and planning to not come back with group sizes of more than 50 people past 21, possibly 2022. So virtual events are here to stay. And if we have to pivot, adjust to this new world, we had an event that we were planning to do in person. We've got 3 real options. We created this framework for you to help think about it. And we're so passionate about it, we actually created a YouTube video, but CPR for your event and for your business, right? So CPR stands for cancel, postpone, reimagine. You can check out our YouTube video, but those are really the 3 different steps. Those are the 3 different options that you have for your event. You can either reimagine it as virtual, you can postpone it and hope to do it in person later, or you can just cancel it altogether. And so this is a picture of our the space that I'm actually standing in on March 13th. On March 11th, Billy and I were walking around the streets of New York City, and we were meeting with the NFL and with Citizens Bank and with VaynerMedia, which is owned and operated by Gary Vaynerchuk, if you're familiar with him. And we were walking around the streets, and that's the day that the World Health Organization declared a pandemic. March 13th was that Friday. We go back, and I started to think about, well, what could we do as a business? We came back on March 16th. That was the Monday. And I said, hey, Billy, Katie, Ricky, our leadership team, I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but we've got a bunch of cancellations. I think we're going to get more. I think we need to clear this space out, and we need to create a studio and start doing virtual events. And so that's exactly what we did. We cleared the space out. And so this space, this was shelving right where I'm standing. This is where we used to have a bunch of equipment. We would load it on our van out this back door over here, and we would take it we literally travel over the world. We did an event, myself, Billy, and Katie did an event in Hawaii back in December. I myself personally have done events in Texas, up in the Northeast, as far north as Maine, as far northwest as Seattle and Portland. So we literally go all over the country, but now this is what we're banking on as a business, is that we're going to be doing this for a while. We think that this studio is going to stay here even when we can do in-person events. And the goal is not that we want to create a virtual event. That's not our goal. That should not be your goal either. It should be that you want to create a remarkable virtual event. Why the difference? Something that we have identified is that an event is something that you attend, an experience is something that you undergo. And that word remarkable is key. The word remarkable means that people are going to go and talk about it and tell their friends about it. We want it to be remarkable. Well, how do you actually do that? The word remarkable to me for a virtual event means to me 3 things. It means that the audience is engaged. You should be engaged right now. You should do something different and engage your audience. You should engage them on chat, engage them with polls. You have them engaged. You hold their attention. It means that the content is meaningful. they can take it and apply it to their lives, and it makes them better as a person or better as an organization. It also should mean, hopefully, that everything runs smoothly. So far, you've already seen that I sent a static shock through camera 2, which made the color go a little bit crazy. So we might not be off to the best start here, but everything should go fairly smoothly for your virtual event. Now, I also say that to say, if for some reason the internet goes out here or the power goes down, y'all, it's just technology. Welcome to 2020, right? So just bear with us, but we actually have a screenshot. I don't have it in this slide deck, but there was one day, probably about 2 days into the pandemic, when everyone was jumping online in the middle of the day. Gmail, YouTube, Spotify, Snapchat, EA Sports, Netflix, they all went down at the same time for about 5 minutes. It was actually kind of funny. I got on Twitter and I was like, what is happening? And everyone started tweeting. I saw it happen all over the world. And so everything runs smoothly, kind of depends because it is technology. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to give you 5 steps to take and 5 things that you need in order to create a remarkable, not just a virtual event, a remarkable virtual event. And so Yoda said this, he said, do or do not, there is no try. We do not want to try. We want to actually pull off a remarkable virtual event. So here are the 5 steps that you need to take. Now, before I give you the 5 steps, this is what we're trying to do, right? This is a visual representation of what we're trying to do. We can go full screen on this, Byron. So on one side of the screen is your idea. You have an idea for the virtual event that you want to pull off. On the far other side is your actual event. That's when people are logging in, they're hearing something, they're seeing something, and they're experiencing something. And we want to go from idea to event. Now, I wish the planning process was a straight line. It is not a straight line. There are going to be highs, there's going to be lows, there are going to be challenges, right? It is not a straight line. So here are the actual 5 steps that you need to take. Step number 1 is you need to pick the purpose. You need to be the judge of your event and what is the purpose of your event for your attendees. And we'll go deeper into each one of these in just a second, but I'm going to give you the 5 at first. Step number 2 is you need to create an outline for yourself. You need to pick the destination, which is your purpose. You need to decide a general rough idea as to how you're going to get there. Step number 3 is that says refine the plan. Sorry that it's cut off for your screen, you guys. It's full screen on mine. But refine the plan, and I'll send you these slides afterwards. Refine the plan, refine the plan. So once you have the outline, then you need to refine the plan. You need to actually go into it a little bit more in depth and detail. Then the next one is you need to prepare for success. Prepare for success. Prepare for success. You need to check things off your checklist. And then the last one is then you need to produce it with excellence. Produce your virtual event with excellence. Now, I'm also going to give you right away the 5 things that you need with you. The 5 things that you need. We can go full screen on these as well. The 5 things you need, they all start with the letter T. They are your topic, which is related to your purpose, your team, your talent, the technology, and the timing. Let's go back to the 5 steps that we need to take together, and let's dive into step number 1, which you can come back on me, Byron, which is to pick the purpose of your event. Pick the purpose of your event. This is a screenshot of the event that I was on last week with the event MB. The name of the event was Engage Event. And it was awesome at the beginning. This is Julius, who's actually a new friend of mine. I met him on Twitter. I've never met him in person. He lives in Las Vegas, I believe. He's the manager and I think the founder of Event MB. And he actually put this slide up there. He said, why are we hosting the event? Well, the reason why is because engaging the audience during online events is the #1 challenge for event professionals. And so he had a 3-hour event that was just about that purpose, right? You need to pick the purpose for your event. What does that actually mean? Well, I've got some tips for you guys and some things to think about as you pick your purpose for your event. Number one is you need to think for the audience. Think for them. Put yourself in their shoes. That also assumes that you know who your audience is. Now, Julius, as the manager or the editor-in-chief at Event MB, he knows that his audience is event planners and professionals, right? So he thought for his audience and he asked a question and he wanted to answer a question. So you need to know our why, which this is you. This is your why, right? This is our why. If you're a group of professionals and you're putting on a virtual event, you need to know why you're trying to put this thing on. What are you trying to get out of it? Because there's two sides of this. You should get something out of it, and your audience should get something out of it, right? So you need to know your why, that's our why, and you need to know their why, which is the audience's why. Why are they going to attend it? Is because they want to see Mark McGrath, a former singer, sing a jingle, which is something that we actually did for our summit a while ago, or are they going to attend it to hear a content? Why are they going to attend your virtual event? Now, of course, in order to know these two things, you need to actually pick your audience and be specific. Be specific. I was reminded this on a podcast that I was listening to of this phrase that the riches are in the niches. I'll say that again because it's funny and it rhymes. The riches are in the niches, right? You need to get very specific with your why and very specific for your audience. Now, just being frank with you, we are an event services provider, in-person events and live and virtual events for our clients. And so we are putting on this virtual workshop for you guys because we would love if there's something here that you hear about, that you want to know more about, that you need us to help you consult on, that you would hire us. Or on the flip side, if you need us to help produce it, if you want to use our studio, if you want to use our services, that's the reason why our audience is someone putting on a virtual event. And our why is we hope that you would consider buying something from us or hiring us to do it. Do your homework with this, you guys. Do your homework into your audience when you're picking it, and you can put out surveys. You can put out chats. Part of your homework is just seeing what sticks to the wall. We've done a bunch of virtual events. I mean, Byron, how many virtual events have we done at Elevate? Virtual workshops and events. We've done
probably over 60.
60 to 70 to 80 in the and that's just in 3 months. That's not even counting the ones that we've had our hands in for the last 5 years or so, where our team was actually doing over 300 events a year. So do your homework. Part of that is your experience and part of that is research, right? You need to research. Go to Event MB. I highly recommend it. They're amazing people there. They're incredibly friendly, professional, and they're doing great work. Research into your audience. Poll them on social media. Poll them in emails, whatever that looks like. And then, of course, listen to feedback. Try it one time. I highly recommend trying it one time and then listening to feedback either at the end of the event or afterwards and say, hey, like, what do you think? If someone was willing to share with that or sign up to attend it again, or even ask you questions afterwards, I'd say that that is feedback in of itself, even if they don't explicitly say that this was amazing. So listen to feedback. So that's step number one, is pick the purpose. Pick the purpose of your event. Step number two is to create an outline. Create an outline. An outline sometimes looks like this. My wife and I are in the process of not remodeling. We're not full on remodeling. We're just like trying to update our kitchen, right? Coronavirus pandemic, we're at home. We like strip the cabinets off ourselves. We're sanding them down. We're painting them. But this is actually an image on screen. This is someone drawing up a blueprint. If you know anything about, or if you've ever watched a building go up, they have to have a detailed blueprint from not an archaeologist. Why am I drawing a blank? An architect. That's the word, an architect. The architect has to create a blueprint. Now, the blueprint is going to give you the general structure of what the building is going to look like, but it's not going to tell you the paint colors. It's not going to tell you what plants you're going to pick. It's not going to tell you where every single individual shingle is going to go, right? It's going to give you the general idea of what it's going to look like and the structure for it. That's what your outline should do for you as well when you create your outline. So here's a couple of things that you need to include when you have your outline. Now, before I give you those things, this is what I recommend people whenever they say, hey, we want to try an event. And this is what we do ourselves actually, is what we do is we say, hey, pick a couple of big picture details. And then when you're done with that, you can market your event And you don't have to have every detail nailed down by the time you start talking about it. For example, this very workshop that I'm on right now, we picked the name of it. We picked some of the content. We said like, yeah, we think there's going to be these things included. We picked the date and time, and then we created a landing page for people to register. And then I'll be perfectly honest with y'all, I didn't finish these slides until 5 minutes until we hit the go live button. That might stress you out, but that's just my personality. I thrive under pressure, and that's where I do some of my best work, is under pressure leading up to it. So creating the outline doesn't mean you have to have every single thing nailed down. It just means you need to have a general idea of what it's going to look like. So number one is pretty basic, right? It's the name of your event. What are you going to name it? Is it going to be something that's very clear and simple, like this workshop? This workshop is titled How to Create a Remarkable Virtual Event. You can read that and immediately know what you're going to learn about. Or if I said the words, the Masters Tournament. Now, because of brand building, the Masters Tournament, you might know that that's a golf tournament, but to someone who doesn't know golf and doesn't know the Masters in Augusta, Georgia, the Masters Tournament, you might think it's a chess Masters game. So you need to pick the name of your event and be aware that how you name it is how people are going to perceive it, and it is a brand that you're building. And there's really those two sides that you can have, which is, are you going to name it something catchy and fun and then do maybe like a subtitle? Or are you going to be very clear in the name of your event? The second one is the theme. What is the theme of your event? The theme of your event might even need to be picked before your event name of it, because it might influence it, right? Now at Elevate, what we did 2 weeks ago is we put on the Elevate Summit 2020. The summit, because we want to help at the Elevate, the word means to lift, right? It means to go to a higher level. Summit is kind of a peak. We wanted to help people get to the top of their game. And so the theme kind of played into what was happening. But then the theme of the actual Elevate Summit 2020 was, we subtitled it basically, was a refreshing conversation for a new world of work. That is something that we did. We're actually going to be planning an Elevate Summit, a second version, a version 2.0 in about a month or so. So what's the theme of your event? The next thing for your outline that you really need is the date, time. Date and time. Because when you send out the registration link, people need to know, well, where, like, what date is it? And they need to check their calendar for what time are they going to be available. The next thing is the location or the venue. If you're doing this in person, this is a little bit more difficult to pick out, but virtually, the venue of your event, like right now, we are using Easy Webinar. Easy Webinar, one word, Easy Webinar for this workshop. We've used Easy Webinar, we've used Facebook Live, we've used YouTube Live, we've used a custom RTMP feed. The virtual event app is going to be your venue or your details, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more in depth when we talk about the 5 things that you need. We specifically talk about technology. And then the last one is that we highly recommend is, when you create an outline, you need to start to build out an agenda. Now, again, you don't need to have everything mapped out when you start to collect registrations, but it is best to know, hey, am I going to do this for 1 hour? Am I going to do it for 3 hours? Am I going to do it for multiple days? Because someone's commitment level, if they're committing to a 3-day event, that is a lot bigger commitment than it is for a 1 hour thing, right? So this is what you need to do to create an outline. Are you guys still with me? Drop something in chat if any of this is resonating with you, as this is helpful, is something has stuck out to you before. It's hard for me to gauge because this is a virtual event. I dearly want to come through. We've got Explosion. We've got Make Sense from Krista, BJ Freeman, hand clap from Jesse. Awesome. Thank you guys. So step number 3, I appreciate that. It's been quiet in chat for a while, so I want to make sure you guys are still awake and still with me. If at any point in time you have a question about something, you want me to go deeper, please feel free to pause. Now, step number 3 is to refine the plan. Refine the plan, refine the plan. You have an agenda, you have a big picture detail, you have a blueprint for your virtual event. Now is the time in the refining step. This is step 3. You're going to start to determine, if you're building the image of building a building, now you're going to start to pick out your tiling for your floor, for your kitchen. What are the cabinets going to look like? That kind of thing. Start to refine it and get it a little bit more detailed. Now, in the refining process, you're going to have more questions. This is Billy at a local company just not too far from here. And he did a workshop with people, and these are people raising their hands, which is what I did. But you're going to have a lot more questions, and you should be asking a lot more questions and answering a lot more questions in this refine the plan step, which is step 3. On the screen, we can go full screen with this, Byron. I want people to be able to see this. So on the right side of your screen, this is us actually refining the plan. A lot of times what we do is we'll jot down in a notebook and we'll say, okay, we think it's going to start at this time. This is going to be the segment. And then on the right side, you can kind of see it's a little bit squinty, but we use a program called Planning Center online, in order to map out what's the length and time down to the second. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes and 42 seconds for a video is on there. And then we break it down into sections and headers and that kind of thing. So we start with the agenda, and then we start to go into refining it. And then we put it into what we call a run of show. A run of show, ROS, is what we abbreviate it as. So the first thing we need to do when we're refining the plan is we need to set deadlines for ourselves. We need to take a look at where we are, take a look at when the date of our event is, and we need to actually set some deadlines and you might already have some. Like, there is a deadline on the calendar because the date of your virtual event when you were in step 2, right? You determine when the date and time was. So that's a big deadline. But you need to start breaking it up into chunks. Set more deadlines for yourself. We can go back to camera for me. Just a quick story for you guys. So myself and Ricky and Jesse, a couple of team members, were actually on a call yesterday with a group named the Scheduling Institute. And they have a event that was going to be in person. We're now helping them. It's a 2-day conference, and it's a leadership conference for young adults between the ages of 13 and 24, a wide range, right? I think it might actually be 12 to 24. And we had to, when we were building out the scope of work with them, when they're saying, hey, Elevate, we're interested in hiring you, but what we need first is we need to make sure to be clear on a couple of deadlines, because our team is going to create some tangible things to send these students and these young adults in the mail. But we need to have deadlines for our creative team. So that's the type of deadlines that I'm talking about. And that comes in the refining process. So you need to set some deadlines for yourself. Second thing you need to do is start to assign responsibilities. Gather a team around you that you can trust and assign responsibilities. You need to get with people and say, hey, I really need you to own this part of the project. It could be the technology part or the graphic design part or the content part, whatever it is. Start to assign responsibilities in this step. Assign roles in this step. This is a little bit different than assigning responsibilities. Responsibilities means it's kind of like big picture. Roles is getting nitty gritty. Start to say like, hey, you're going to be on camera 1 or you're going to be on camera 2, and start to think through those actual roles that you need when you're executing it or even leading up to it. So those are just a little bit different. The last one for this one for refine the plan is you need to establish a meeting cadence. I was interviewing someone from a local church nearby, and they were planning a conference. And what she told me is what they did is they said, hey, actually what we did is we assigned roles and responsibilities, and then we established a meeting cadence. And we do this at Elevate with our clients. What we do is a lot of times, since I'm the chief strategy officer, it's either myself or Billy who's helping solidify a deal and a partnership with someone for a virtual event. And then we hand off to someone of our team member with what's called a clarity meeting, where we get together and we have a series of questions that we go through. And one of the questions is, how often do we need to have a touch point with the client? Is it once a week? Is it daily? Is it once a month? Whatever that looks like. And so we map that out. And that's what a meeting cadence looks like. So you just need to decide for yourself, how often are you going to get together with those people that you're assigning roles and responsibilities that's helping you with, and how often are you going to meet and for how long, and what are you going to talk about? So establish a meeting cadence for yourselves, and that's really going to help you get in the rhythm, and that holds people accountable, because every time you're going to be asking them when you go around the table and you say, hey, what did you accomplish between now and the last time we met? And you go around, they have to be accountable, right? So establish a meeting cadence. Also, and refine the plan is you need to set the budget for yourself. This is a big one. You guys are probably aware of this, but what is your budget going to be for the venue, which is on a virtual event specifically? It's going to be the platform that you're on. So how are people viewing it? And then the studio, what is it actually going to look like? I would love, Byron, can we go to camera 2 right here? I want to show you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes for our studio. So this is Byron sitting at our tech table. You can see there's wires and cords everywhere. And if you see in front of him, there's next to him on his right, we've got 2 different camera angles in the slides. We have the ability for a 3rd camera. We've got a whole mixer, which I can't bring the camera over there. I wish I could. Oh, static. Oh no. Okay, it's cutting out. There we go. So there's a mixer over there. It's like got 24 different channels because we've got 3 or 4 different microphones. And then I want to show you guys what I see. So this is actually what I see right here. So you can see I've got my slides in front of me. We've got our 2nd camera, and it actually says, I don't know if you can, let me see if I can zoom in on that camera and get you guys to be able to read what it says. Oh no, it's not going to show up. It's too bright. But that card above the camera, it actually says, look here. You can see that that's where the chat is. You can see that. We've got a gigantic TV monitor that we sometimes use for if we need to be able to like live stream it, something different. We've got different sets of lighting, different things like that. So you can go back on me, Byron. And that's an example of what our studio looks like. So you need to, for your budget, you need to know, what are you going to buy software-wise for the platform? And then what is it going to look like in the studio? Now, one of the benefits of hiring someone like Elevate is we probably have about $50,000 worth of equipment in this studio. That's between the cameras, that's between the hardware, which is multiple computers. We've got 4 computers in order to help pull off this at a high level. And when we were doing our summit, we had even more. We had a 3rd camera, we had more computers, we had more slides, we've got lighting set up, we've got the space, right? So one of the benefits of hiring someone, and one of the benefits of hiring someone like us is you might pay, say, $3,500. I'm just throwing a number out there. You might pay a couple of $1,000s, but it saves you from having to buy about $50,000 worth of equipment, but you get the benefit of the $50,000, if that makes sense. So it is an investment, but it's 100% worth it. The next one, when you set the budget, is obviously the audio visuals, the microphones, the cameras, that kind of thing. The next thing is the keynote speakers. Are you going to pay someone? Is it going to be free? Are you going to do it yourself? What does that look like? You need to figure out some kind of entertainment or DJ, right? Here's why you need entertainment. I'm going to get close. I'm going to do this a little bit. See if I can get it. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to get close with you guys for a second. So you need to do it differently. And you need to be entertaining because people are used to watching Amazon Prime, Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus. They are used to being entertained, right? They are used to it. And so what you need to do is you need to be entertaining with your virtual event, whether that's through a game, a DJ, a magician, something, some kind of skit. At our summit, we did a couple of skits. So be entertaining and mix it up a little bit. Notice, like normally I'm back here, but right now I'm up here. I've played it up. So you need to be entertaining and you need to have entertainment. Okay, I'm going to bring the screen back into focus. Hopefully this works. I'm going to go back. Okay. So entertainment / DJ. And then the last one is an MC or a host, MC or host. Now that's pretty specific. And when I was actually on the event MB, they actually polled everyone. There was about 850 people that were event professionals watching that Engage event live. And one of the questions that they asked to a panel of event professionals planning it is they said, do you think that the moderator or the MC of the event is more important than a live event, and why? And I was like, oh man, like I'm glad I'm not on the spot because I think I have an answer, but I'm not sure. And overwhelmingly, the entire panel said yes. And the reason why is because there's a lot going on. I just showed you the behind the scenes, right? We've got multiple cameras going on. We've got chat. We've got polls. There's a lot to think about. There's who's coming on next, who's jumping off. What happens if someone's audio goes out? They have to think on their feet. So if it's going to be you, I recommend rehearsing it and just testing out and give yourself grace. Otherwise, if it's going to be a pretty significantly produced one, hire a great MC host. Shameless plug, we're good at it, okay? We've got a lot of experience. I love emceeing. Byron loves emceeing. Ricky does. Katie does. Billy does. We would love to be an MC or a host for your virtual event. Reach out to us. Hello@Elevate Experiences. It comes directly to me. We would love to talk with you guys about it. Step number 4 is prepare for success. Prepare for success. This quote is one that we love, 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 love. It's preparation precedes success. Preparation precedes success. Here's what we mean by that. You need to source your vendors in the prepare stage. This is when you have your refined plan and outline. You need to start to gather the materials and gather everything in preparation for what you're about to do. So source your vendors. Ask them about pricing. Give your people final information. The people that you assign roles and responsibilities to, give them their final information. Gather any materials that you need. If you need to go to storage or you need to buy something, you're in the prepare for success phase. And then you need to practice, 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 practice. Y'all remember that video of the basketball player? What was his name? Was it Kevin Durant? Who was that? Where he was like, practice? You talking about practice? Practice? You know what I'm talking about, Byron? You remember that? This was like 5 or 6 years ago.
It
but
might have been Durant.
Was it Durant? Maybe it was Allen Iverson or somebody. But yes, yes, yes. Allen Iverson. Ricky, I got it right. Okay, Ricky. Thank you, Ricky. Allen Iverson said it. Practice, 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 practice. Okay? One way that you can practice that you need to do is you need to click through all your slides, and we call it testing the actuals. Test the microphone, test the camera, test the slides. Test the actuals. Show up early for your event. Notice we went live for this virtual workshop a couple of minutes beforehand. When it was the Elevate Summit, we went live 15 minutes before we were supposed to have our first session, and it didn't work. The streaming service wasn't streaming correctly. So me and Ricky had to work together. Ricky, who's in chat, we had to work together for about 5 minutes to get the correct API key and RTMP feed set up so that we could then access the right platform, and then we were able to, again, go live again. So show up early. Show up early. It's huge. Create a plan A and create a plan B. My plan B for this whole thing is just to record it and send it to you guys afterwards if everything shuts down. That's my plan B. It's simple, but it is a plan B. And then prepare more than you think you need. Now, I say this with a caveat, with like an asterisk. Don't be wasteful, but here's what I mean by this, specifically like with the content and the engagement side. One time we were at an event, it was a live in-person event, and we had booked a keynote speaker on behalf of our client. It was a 300-person conference, and we were running the full 2 days. We did everything from catering, the whole thing. This keynote speaker was supposed to go for 45 minutes. Y'all, they stopped at the 20-minute mark. 25 extra minutes that we had to kill. So, does that give you stress? Or if you prepare more than you need, you're able to take a deep breath and say, actually, we can go right into this or do this activity. If you're wondering, what did we do? Billy, our founder and president, was the MC of this event. He got up on stage and he said, hey, that was an amazing talk. Here's what I want to do. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes as a group and discuss what does that look like for us at our tables. Ready, go. Really simple. So prepare more than you need. Step number 5 is the last one. And then I'm going to go faster for the 5 things that you need, which is you need to produce it with excellence. This is a sketch. You can go full screen on this, Byron. This is actually the sketch that we went through when we were designing the Elevate logo. We joke around when we feel like we should have been the Elevate Ninja or the Elevate Rocket should have been our logo. But you have gone through the prepare phase, the planning phase, the outline phase, your idea phase, and you're now into the execute with success phase. And this is actually what our logo looks like, right? It is clean, it is simple, it is customized. And so we need to produce with excellence. The company we worked with started with this, and they prepared and they produced this for us. So you need to produce it with excellence. Here's what you need to do to produce with excellence. You need to think about your audience. Think about them. Put yourself in their shoes. Log in as if they would log in. Give yourself some margin. If you think you need 30 minutes, give yourself an hour. Flexecution is a word that we have kind of coined to elevate. It is the combination, it's the word combination, a wombination, I like to say, of flexibility and execution. Flexecution, it means having the best, well-laid plans and being ready to change them at any moment. Remember that it's about the people. I'm hoping that you guys on the other side, Krista and everyone else that's watching, I'm hoping that you guys are getting a lot out of this. It is about your people. That's why I've tried to pack as much content as I could possibly can. You need to huddle everyone up beforehand, gather them together and say, this is what we're going to do. This is when we're going to do it. And this is who's going to do what. And then try to enjoy yourself. Try to have some fun. I've tried to have some fun with you guys today, and I hope you have seen that. And then the last one is think 2 to 3 steps ahead. Even right now, I'm looking at the clock, and I'm thinking that I need to get through the next 5 things for you guys. And I also have a couple of options for you guys in ways that you can buy something from us and hire us at the end that I would love to tell you more about. But I want to go full screen with this one. This you can screenshot if you want to, or I'm going to send you the slides again. These are the 5 steps that you need to take in order to produce a remarkable virtual event. Now come back to me, Byron. We're going to start to go a little bit faster because these are the 5 things that you need. Number 1 is you need a topic. You need a main message and you need a theme. A main message and a theme. This is related to your purpose and this is related to the name of your event, but this is primarily like, what are you going to talk about? Right now, we're talking about virtual events and how to do them at a high level. So what's the main message and the theme? Second thing you need is the team. Here's a couple of recommended roles and responsibilities that you can assign to your team. You need to have a producer, someone that's thinking for the timing of your virtual event. They are like the air traffic controller, making sure everyone's landing and going where they need to go. Have someone thinking for just the music as a DJ and the sound with microphones. What's it sound like? They're logging in, they're testing it out, everything like that. The next one is someone assigned to just camera work. Who is doing the cameras? Maybe that's multiple people. Someone that's dedicated just to the slides and the visuals, the slides and the visuals. Katie, thank you so much for the encouragement. She said this is very valuable. I appreciate it. Then a big one that we just learned is assign someone to a virtual help desk, especially if you're doing like a large conference where it's hundreds of people logging in. We actually had one team member at a virtual help desk that was ready to answer questions for the full 2 days, and it worked really well. Then the next one is you need to have someone assigned just to social media, just as you would when you are doing a live event in person. Have someone that's there to think through the social media side. The talent side of things. So now this is getting into the people that are on screen or on camera, right? You need to have a moderator. You need to have your speakers nailed down. You need them, the 2 of these types of people need to be interactive. They need to be engaging with chat and polls. That you need to have someone that's a moderator or whoever it is give introductions. Even if you don't hire an outside moderator, have someone do introductions, give introductions. And whoever they are, they need to create energy and they need to communicate clearly. Communicate clearly, right? Communicate very, very clearly. Now, this is a visual representation of what it looks like to map out your event with a couple of those roles. You might be the event planner and you might be gathering, you can go full screen on this one, Byron. You might be gathering information from the organization that you're partnering with or that you work for, your client, your vendors, your venue, your boss. All of this information is coming to you and you have to communicate it to 2 different types of people, to your event staff, which is their roles and responsibilities, as well as the MC host, the moderator, or your keynote speaker. And then those people, the reason why talent is so key is because notice those little blue arrows between the MC, host, speaker, and the audience. Your audience is not going to hear from you as an event planner unless you're dual rolling it. And so if one of these little blue arrows goes wrong, if something goes wrong with them, like let's say there's miscommunication that happens, there's going to be miscommunication that goes with the audience. So you need to have talented people on your team, and that's talented people that are the actual talent of your virtual event to be able to adjust and to be very, very clear. So that's just a visual representation for you guys. Number 1, the next one is technology. You can come back to me for on camera, Byron. So we've got three different pieces of the technology. We've got hardware, we've got software, and we've got scenery. Hardware, software, and scenery. Christy says, I am everyone on my team. She is a one-woman show, rocking it. I like it. That's very impressive, Christy. We'd love to know, can you put in chat what types of virtual events are you doing? I think you might have said it earlier, but I would love to hear that answer. Hardware and software and scenery. So here's what's happening on the hardware to software side. Hardware, you've got a computer with a microphone and a camera. This is kind of like the DIY model, right? If you're doing something where you're like in your house, right? Then you're streaming either to a streaming service and it's feeding into an event app, and then it's going to the end user, the person's like computer, or you're streaming directly to the event app, which is then reaching them, right? So this is why it's very important to be investing and learning about the hardware, the software, and then the scenery is what you see around me. We have these blue lights down on the ground that's casting up in order to light up the backdrop. We have a light that's shining on the back of my head to make sure that it looks good. We've got a TV screen so that I can show you slides and make it feel different than a Zoom call. So the way that you do it on the professional side, if you were to hire a professional company, if you were to hire Elevate, it looks more like this, where we have multiple microphones feeding into a mixer, which is then in a computer, which is then feeding into another computer, which is then uploading and then reaching the end user. And we have multiple cameras and camera angles, which we've already shown you guys a couple of times. Christy says ditto, Krista to Christy says she's a librarian instructing graduate students on research. That's cool. I like that. And Krista is, I guess she's saying ditto, you're a one-woman show, I think. You're trying to coordinate and run events pretty much solo for student engagement. That's cool. I like that. Awesome. And I love that. They're networking. This is amazing. Yeah. Email me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. I'm glad that this is helpful for you guys. And then the last one is timing. Timing. Or not, I think we've got a couple more timing. But timing is the next one. What are you competing against with your timing? If you plan something in the evening, are you competing with Netflix or dinner time? If you're planning something during the weekend, are you competing with them going to the beach? What are you competing against is important to ask when you plan for the timing. Spread your virtual event over multiple days, or at least have breaks within the chunks of time, especially if you're doing longer ones. Are you doing multiple days, or are you doing a single day? Are you doing 1 hour or 30 minutes? What's it going to look like? And then we recommend mixing it up for your virtual event. Do panels, Q&A, interaction, poll, different things like that. So these were the 5 things that you need to bring with you. And I think that's, let me double check here. Yeah, that's it. Those were the 5 things. So I'm going to go back and show you what they are one more time. Topic, team, talent, technology, and timing, as well as the 5 steps that I gave you. And now I've actually got some resources for you guys, and I would love to hear some Q&A after that. But before I share the resources, Byron, can we go in and close out that other poll? We're going to pop up the other poll. Now that you've heard the 5 steps and you've heard about the 5 things, let's close that poll. If you scroll down there, Byron, I think you can close it out. Maybe not. Oh, it's closed. Cool. So we're going to pop in a new poll. It's the exact same poll. If you were to plan a virtual event next month, how confident are you? Does this help is basically what I'm asking. Was this worth your time and your time investment? And then while you're answering that poll, we do have a couple of resources for you. Number 1, we're going to send you a digital download of our ultimate virtual event roadmap. If you are taking notes, it has the 5 things that you need, and it has the 5 steps for you to take in order to map out your ultimate virtual event. The next one that we have as a resource for you is our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search for elevateexperiences.com, this video, this is an example of what we put up there. So if you're looking for ways to engage your audience, we're constantly creating and uploading. We just had at 11:04 a.m., I think, a team member named Abby, who's an amazing team member of ours. She uploaded a brand new YouTube video that we just put up for how to use emojis at a virtual event. The next one is we would love to help you. We would love to help. This is Billy on the computer talking to someone. This is what he looks like on the phone, but we would love for you, to go in and to sign up for a free 30-minute phone call. In an email follow-up, we're going to send you a link. And if you have a virtual event and you want to hear some ideas, there's no cheesy sales tactics. We would just love to hear what you're working on and help you out. And then the last one, which Katie or someone who's on our team, can you put this link in chat, because I don't think it's pulling up as an offer. I might have forgotten to hit save. But basically, and we'll add it as an offer. We're going to go ahead and add it as an offer in just a few minutes if we can. But we actually have a brand new resource that you can purchase from our website for less than $20. It's $19.95. And it is the ultimate virtual event toolbox. It contains a collection of resources that we put together after we've done 60 to 70, somewhere in that range of events, virtual events in the last 2 to 3 months. And we took all of the work that we did for our own virtual conference and we put it into downloadable resources that you can buy and instantly get access to, including how to run social media. We've got the #blessed speaker gift pack, a checklist that you can follow to make sure that your keynote speaker feels #blessed. We've got a checklist for how to book your keynote speaker. So we have spent hours, countless of hours in our experience and taken that and poured it into this resource, which you can buy and use to immediately be more effective, save time, and save hassle, because you don't have to create these checklists from scratch. We've already done it for you. So if you are interested in it, go to the website, check it out. If you need more information, just let us know. We're in the process of building that out, because that is literally a brand new product that went up on our website about an hour ago. Now I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. And again, hear me say, we hope that this helps you become more effective as an event planner, specifically as a virtual event planner, because we want you to know how to create not just a virtual event, but a remarkable virtual event. So what I'd love to do is 2 things. Is in the chat, I would love to hear, can we go back to that poll? Actually, I would love to see that poll. Can we go to that poll? There it is. So we've got somewhat confident is only 10% of the responses, and then very confident for 90% of the responses. I love it. I'm so glad that you guys feel more confident. That just makes me so ecstatic, because we have poured a lot of time and energy into these things. So here's the 2 things I want to do is, if you have any questions, drop them in chat. I see that we've got a couple of questions already. And then the second thing is I would love for you to look through your notes and do 2 things. Circle one thing that what is an action step that you can use to make your next virtual event better. Don't feel overwhelmed by all the things that I gave you. Just circle one thing that you can try and then type it in chat. Tell us, what is the one thing that you learned, or the one principle that you want to apply, or the one thing that you want to do that's going to make you better. And go ahead and leave that for us in the chat right there. I'd love to hear from you guys. So Katie said, actually, Byron, I'm going to take a sip of water. Can you read that for me?
Yeah, I got you. Katie's question is, what if the speaker you chose is hard to get in touch with to confirm details beforehand? How do you navigate that?
I don't know why. Maybe it's like the skeptical side of me. But the first thing that I thought of when Byron finished reading that question was, if you remember the movie Taken, it's kind of a violent movie, so I don't know how many people have seen it. But there's this one time where the guy says, like, the kidnapper goes, "Good luck." That's kind of what I thought of when I thought of that one. That's really hard. That's a hard question. What happens? So the question was, again, is what happens if the keynote speaker is hard to get in touch with? I would recommend trying different forms of communication, as well as trying somebody else. Maybe there's someone in your organization, like the CEO or the founder and president, that if you're having a hard time getting in touch with that person because they maybe started the conversation, they handed it up to you, maybe they'll have a better time or an easier time at reaching out to them. Or try a different form of communication. Maybe you've emailed them 5 times. Try picking up the phone and calling them. Try DMing them on Instagram or on LinkedIn or whatever that is. Just try some different form, and it'll disrupt them, and it'll remind them that, oh yeah, I got to get back to that person. So hopefully that was helpful. What else do we have coming in, Byron?
That's good, Sean. Let's see here. Krista said, action step.
I want to go to you. Put yourself. Oh, the camera died. The camera died.
So Krista says, action step, have a screen with the slides with you newscasting next to it. We typically use Zoom for our virtual workshops and just share the screen. The format you're using is more like being in person.
Yeah, 100%. I was actually, Krista, when I was on the Event MB Engage event, I had the same setup and we were on Zoom and most other people did exactly what you're talking about. What's interesting is there was another event professional on that same call that I didn't know she was doing this, but she took a screenshot of me with this setup. And then she tweeted about it afterwards. And she said there's actually something nostalgic about it too, because who doesn't miss trussing and pipe and drape, right? Because not many people are going and attending events right now. So we love this setup. And for me as a keynote speaker, like this is amazing to me because I can see my screen, I can see my slides. I don't have to worry about clicking too much. It's been really fun. What else do we have coming in, Byron?
So Christy says, the analogy of the architect blueprint really resonates with me and made things very clear.
Good. I'm so glad that helped. Yeah, that's just a really simple way of explaining it, that you don't, in the outline phase, you don't have to have everything nailed down. You don't have to have every little furnishing or where your pictures are going to go, right? It's just the big picture and the details.
Let's see. Natalie says, really like how you place an emphasis on operating with excellence. Looking forward to preparing more than you need to be at the ready.
Yeah, give yourself margin. If you think you're going to play a game and you think you're going to play one game, have 3 games prepared because you never know how fast one's going to go, especially with that one.
Then Liz says, producing with excellence and flexication is the best way to describe how events are executed.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Byron, go ahead and hit refresh and see if it'll pop up there. Go to the offers. Hit refresh. Now hit the drop down. There we go. Ultimate Virtual Event Toolbox. Bam. All right. It's up there for you guys. We're so thankful that you joined us. Please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're going to send you a link with the link goes to my calendar and you can schedule 30 minutes to brainstorm. I can help answer more questions. I literally just did this. Polk State College down in Lakeland, Florida is thinking about doing a virtual event and they just want to ask a couple questions. And they wanted to see the studio and see the capabilities. So we got on first a phone call and then a Zoom call. And I was able to help them ask a bunch of questions and give them a couple of ideas. So if something that I've said here resonates with you, we do this for companies, we do this for nonprofits. From our studio, we've done virtual 5Ks, which is a thing. That's an actual thing. You might have even run in one before, or maybe you've never heard of it. We do virtual conferences. We do internal team building events. Please, please, please reach out to us. We do this all the time, and we would love to help you. We hope that this has been beneficial. And we hope now you feel equipped with the 5 steps to take and 5 things you need to produce a remarkable virtual event. I'm going to drop to the floor because I'm excited and I'm also exhausted from pouring out my heart and soul for you guys because I love this stuff, but I'm out. See you guys. Thank you. See ya.